everyone. Today we're going to be moving through a pretty basic sequence based off of Sun Salutations A and B. This is suitable for beginners, and I'll be giving cues that should help you make it comfortable and fit for your body. I hope this sequence feels really good for you guys, and I'll meet you on your mats. We're going to go ahead and start in a child's pose. So go ahead and come to the back of your mat or the center of your mat, wherever you're comfortable. You can start with your knees together or your knees spread wide, whichever is more comfortable for you. Personally, I just get a better stretch when my knees are spread, so that's what I'm going to choose. Once you've chosen your leg position, go ahead and lower yourself down. Bring your chest down as far as you can. You don't want to be applying any pressure or anything, so just let it fall. And your hips reaching towards your heels. From here, bring your forehead to the mat. Your arms can be reaching in front of you. They can be wrapped behind you. Sometimes it feels really nice to bend the elbows and clasp behind the head. Whatever you want to choose. We're just going to take this and get settled into our breath. Wherever you're comfortable, go ahead and reach your tailbone back and reach the crown of your head forward. So really stretching out your spine. Begin to feel your breath filling the back side of the body. So on each inhale, bringing the breath all the way down from the shoulders to the middle of your spine, all the way to your tailbone. Keep reaching the tailbone towards the wall behind you or toward your heels. It doesn't have to touch, just energetically reaching in that direction. Go ahead and reach your fingertips forward. And on each exhale, make sure you're fully emptying out the belly. Relax the chest and the belly. Let them drape between or on top of your thighs. And just a few more breaths here. Slow inhales. And slow exhales. Letting go of anything that may have been going on today before this, and anything that you have to look forward to after this. Really just taking the time to be present in the moment. On your next inhale, go ahead and pull yourself forward into a tabletop position. You may have to adjust, I always do. Just you want your shoulders to be over your elbows, over your wrists, and you want your hips aligned above your knees. If it's not perfect, it's okay. Do what feels good for you. From here, we'll go into some cat-cows. So on an inhale, drop the belly, tailbone reaches up to the sky, chest pulls forward, and your gaze rises for cow. Exhale, push the floor away with your palms and all your fingers. Push the shins into the ground, round the spine. Inhale, back to cow. And exhale to cat. Do a few more of these on your own breath, using your breath as a guide. You can take any other movements here that you'd like that might feel good for you. Some barrel rolls to the chest. If you have some tightness in your upper spine or your lumbar spine, you can let the head nod up and down or left and right. If you've got some tightness there, you can move back and forward, shift the hips either direction, whatever your body needs today. It doesn't have to be symmetrical, but try and make it so that you feel even on both sides. And on your next inhale, come back to a neutral spine. So really think about reaching the crown of your head forward and your tailbone back. You should be able to think about sitting a cup of water on your back like a table. That's how flat you want your spine to be. Think about pulling your chest and your belly button up and in, and really engage your core muscles here. When you're ready, go ahead and tuck your toes, press your feet back, and lift the hips up and back into downward facing dog. This is the first downward facing dog of the day. It might be your first downward facing dog of the week. Whatever it is for you, just take a minute to get yourself comfortable here. I like to pedal out my feet because I tend to have really tight calves and hamstrings. This feels really good for me. It helps to loosen the hips up as well. It's okay if you have a generous bend in the knee. What's most important here is a flat spine. So think about pressing all 10 fingers into the ground, really focusing the thumb and the index finger down. This helps bring some of the pressure out of the wrists. Bend the knees as much as you need to push your waist up and back. Think about wrapping your shoulder blades around the back of your spine. So almost like you're pulling your biceps forward. Relax the neck. Gaze should be up through towards your belly button or your thighs. If you want, you can take some head nods, shake your head side to side. Take any more movements that you want or need before you settle into your static downward facing dog. Again, keep your belly up and in. Think about closing the bottom two ribs. Your spine is flat, but you don't want the front side of your body to flare open. On an inhale, come up on your toes and tiptoe forward to the front of your mat. Your feet here can be hip width distance. They can be wider than hip width distance if you need the space or want the space. Go ahead and relax, drape your belly onto your legs. Your belly can rest in between your thighs or on your thighs, whatever feels good. If your belly doesn't connect, that's okay. You can use, if you have yoga blocks, they make a good something to give you a little extra lift so that you can support yourself. If not, you can use a water bottle or anything that you've got. Really drape down. Bend your knees as much as you need to. So you can see my belly drapes on my thighs with this much bend, but if it doesn't, you can bend down this much. It's okay. Just let your upper body drape over and relax. If you want, you can grab opposite elbows. You can wrap around the legs. You can interlock fingers at the base of your neck and traction the spine downward. This is a spine release, so go ahead and just really let the body hang. Feel the spine stretch from the tailbone to the crown of the head. You can take some movement left and right here. If you don't want to take movement, you never have to. You can always wait in stillness. Making sure to focus on the breath. Release the hands to frame the feet. They can also be in front of the feet, that's fine too. On an inhale, halfway lift. So your knees don't have to be completely straight. In fact, it's probably best to have a bit of a micro bend in them. Hands can come to the thighs or the shins, just not directly on the knees. Your goal here is for a completely flat spine. So reach the crown of your head forward and your tailbone back and push into whatever leg contact you have to straighten the spine. Weight shifts forward, gaze is a little bit forward. Exhale, fold. On an inhale, bend the knees a lot and slowly roll up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Your head and shoulders should be the last things to arrive. Exhale at the top. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands at heart center. You can heel toe your feet together if you like. If not, they can always stay hip width distance. They can be any distance that's comfortable. I personally just really feel good with my feet touching, but that's not going to be everyone's body. On your next inhale, arms back up. Shift your gaze up with your hands. They can meet at the top. You can cross all your fingers, release the index fingers, and cross the thumbs. You can cactus the arms, or you can just have your hands touching. Go ahead and exhale into a little back bend. Lift the chest. Hips go forward. Inhale to uncurl, and exhale to swan dive, hinging at the hips, back to your forward fold. Again, your feet can be hip width, or touching, or anywhere in between, or wider. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Go ahead and plant your hands on the ground, step back into your high plank. For high plank, you want your feet hip width distance and your hands shoulder width distance. Your wrists should be stacked underneath of your shoulders. Think about pointing your tailbone towards the back wall. This will really engage your core. Bring your belly up and in, and reach the crown of your head forward. Gaze is a little bit in front of the hands. You can lower the knees. In fact, I prefer if you do lower the knees for the first one. Untuck the toes and lower all the way down to your belly, keeping elbows nice and tucked in. From here, if you'd like, you can spread the hands off of the mat and take a wide grip with your arms at about a 90-degree angle. This will just give you a little bit more space for your cobra pose. On an inhale, really firm up the legs and curl up, bringing the chest forward. Really open and spread across the collarbones. Traction the hands backwards. So they're not actually moving, but it feels like you're pulling the hands back. This will help you push the chest forward. If you want, you can go up a little further, or exhale, lower. Only go as high as is comfortable for you. Take a moment, rest. And on the inhale, lift into your second cobra. Maybe you come up a little bit higher. Maybe you walk the hands back if that feels good. If it doesn't feel good, stay low. That's fine. That's perfectly good. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes and push up into a tabletop position. Just one exhale here. Inhale again. And then exhale, push up into your downward facing dog. Hips up and back. Nice straight spine. Belly tucked. Just a moment here. Inhale, come up on your toes. Look forward, walk or step forward or jump. Landing in a half lift. Exhale to your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees. Rise all the way up. Look up, eyes up. Exhale, hands at heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale to the back bend of your choice. You can cactus the arms. You can keep them straight. It can be little, it can be big. Inhale to rise. Exhale, swan dive it forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step, jump back to your high plank. This time you can shift forward 2 inches and lower halfway, or you can lower all the way down if you want. From here, press up into your cobra or your upward facing dog if you did the chaturanga. Exhale, lower down, tuck your toes, come through your tabletop into a downward facing dog. You can take any variation of the chaturanga that you like, or of the vinyasa that you like. So, while I explain, I'll come here. So, while you choose, whenever we do a vinyasa, you can lower halfway, you can lower all the way. You can skip and take a child's pose and rest. You can come straight to downward facing dog. And then once you've made the choice to lower or not to lower, from a chaturanga, from the chaturanga, so here, you can pull the chest through into an upward facing dog, and from here, you'll roll over the toes into a downward facing dog. If you lower all the way down, you can take any cobra variation that you like. You can put the arms wide or narrow. You can come up high, or you can keep it low, whatever is comfortable for you. And you can take any variation. You can always choose to skip. And I'll come back into it now. We'll always meet in a downward facing dog. On your next inhale, come up on the toes, look forward, walk, step, or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up, eyes up. Exhale, hands at heart center. Inhale, rise. Exhale to your backward bend, hips forward, chest up. Inhale, back to rise. Exhale, fold, hinging at the hips. Exhale, halfway lift. Crown of the head forward, tailbone reaches back, flat spine. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step back to your high plank, and take your version of the chaturanga. Chaturanga, I keep calling it that, the vinyasa. Try and move with your breath. You don't have to move at the same time that I am. Bend the knees, look forward, move to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands at heart center. We're going to move into a variation of a sun salutation B now. It won't be exactly what you would find if you Google it on the internet, but it's something that it's a variation that I like to practice. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, backward bend. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink the hips back into a chair pose. I could not think of the word chair for a moment there. Arms up. They can be all the way up at your ears. They can be straight forward. They can be at your hips. They can be at heart center. Feet can be touching, toes touching, or hip width distance, or whatever is comfortable. Upper body, think cobra back. So the natural curve of your spine. Sink low, but keep your upper body up. Chest forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, right leg steps back into a low lunge. So go ahead and lower the knee, untuck the toes, and then come up into Anjaneyasana. Another word I couldn't think of for a moment there. So you can use the thigh, the hands on the thigh, to press yourself up, or you can sweep right up into your Anjaneyasana. Think about coming up out of your hips. Right hip tractions forward, left hip pulls back. Legs stay strong. Press your toes, your left toes into the mat. Reach up. Gaze is up. You can do a little back bend here if you'd like. Exhale, plant the hands, tuck right toes, step back into high plank, and take a vinyasa. Or don't. Couple breaths here. On your next inhale, right leg steps forward, lower left knee, untuck left toes, and come up into your Anjaneyasana on the left side. On the right side? On the right side, I guess. Same thing here. Right foot tractions back, left leg tractions forward, really pushing into the ground with a strong foundation. Come out of your hips, strong core, gaze lifts. Exhale, frame your right foot, tuck left toes, pop the knee up, left foot comes forward to meet right knee into a forward fold, and come straight here, sweep the arms up, maybe brushing the ground into your chair pose. Exhale, rise, hands to heart center. Take a moment here to reset. So we'll go through that sequence once more, on the other side, and then we'll move down into some grounding work. You can always repeat any of these sequences as much as you want, but I don't want to overdo it. So take it as much as you want, as quickly as you want, or as slowly as you want. And make your practice as long as short or as short as your body needs. Inhale, arms up. Exhale to a back bend. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips. I forgot a chair pose. I'm really sorry. But sweep up into a chair pose and sink down. You should be able to see all 10 toes spread nice and wide. Weight is in your heels. Now exhale to your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands. Left foot steps back and lowers down. If you'd like a little more this time around, you can keep the leg risen. You can keep it up, whatever. But I'm gonna teach it lowered down. Untuck the toes and rise into your Anjaneyasana. Really tractioning the feet together. Come out of the hips, bend back if you'd like. At the same time, thinking about closing your ribs, so you don't want to flare too much. Exhale to your fold. Tuck the toes, step back. Take a vinyasa or don't. Take a moment to reset here. Inhale, step left leg forward, lower right knee down, untuck the toes, rise into Anjaneyasana. Traction feet together, lift chest up, curl back. Exhale, fold, plant the foot, pop right knee up, right foot comes forward to meet left foot in a forward fold. Inhale, sweep arms up. Butt reaches back. Tailbone is wide, so go ahead and spread the lower back. Think about reaching the insides of your seams backwards towards the back wall. Exhale, rise, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up, eyes up. Exhale, forward fold. Go ahead and step straight back into a downward facing dog, or you can take a vinyasa if you want. I'm not gonna take that away from you if that's something you really want here. Inhale, lift right leg up. Think about pointing the toes down. Don't open up the hip. Tuck chin to chest. Oh my gosh, my brain. Bring the right foot forward on the outside of your hands. So here we're in a lizard lunge. This is a high lizard lunge. I'm going to lower my knee. You're welcome to keep your knee raised if that's uncomfortable for you at all. If this is too much, you can always go wider, you can come in more narrow. Just make sure that your knee is pointing in the same direction as your toes. This is a big hip stretch here. You can rock back and forth if that's comfortable, if that feels good. I think this feels really good, but it doesn't do much, I don't think, for me. So go ahead and rock. If you're here, you can lower to your knees, but make sure that you press your shoulder into your right knee and your knee stays tractioning in the same direction as your toes. Don't go any farther than you can go with a comfortable breath. So if this is where you are, then this is where you are. And if you're with your knee up, then that's okay. Go ahead and raise. Sorry, my brain just got so distracted. Pop back up if you were on your elbows. And pop left knee back up. Sweep the right leg back into a downward facing dog if you want. You can circle the knee a bit. You can also come down to a tabletop and circle the hip out. Just kind of releasing all the work that you just did. Come back, meet in a downward facing dog. Left leg comes up. Oh gosh, I lost my balance. Left leg comes up, toes pointed down, hip closed off, chin to chest, and step left foot to the outside of both hands. You can stay here. You can lower knee. You can take some movement. And if you want, you can lower elbows down. I recommend taking the same variation on this side that you took on the other side, but it is ultimately up to you and what feels good in your body. It may feel completely different from one side to the other. That's normal. Just a few more breaths here. And you can relax the neck. When you're ready, if you're on the elbows, replace the elbows with the hands on the mat. Pop right knee back up. And go ahead and reach left foot back up to your downward facing dog. You may have to take some steps to get there, that's okay. Go ahead and circle the hip out. If you would like to take it from tabletop, I actually prefer taking it from a tabletop, but I've noticed that it seems most people think it feels better from a downward facing dog. All right. Meeting back in a downward facing dog. From here, come up on the toes, look forward, walk, step, or float forward, and lower your butt all the way down. Come to a seat. We're going to go through some seated stretching now, and then Savasana, and then I'll be it for you guys. All right, so We'll start with the good old-fashioned right foot forward, left foot can come in as close as you want it to the hip. It can come up if you have half lotus in your practice, that's okay. You can tuck, if not, it doesn't matter. It can be here, it can be here, wherever's comfortable. Flex right toes back towards the face, hard. Inhale, sweep arms up, square your shoulders forward, and reach forward. So you want, in this, you want your knee to come to your nose or your forehead or whatever. You can bend your knee as much as you need to. So if you come forward and your knee is not going to touch your nose unless you bend it this much, that's okay. You're still going to get a hip flex. A hip flex? A hamstring stretch. So from here, go ahead and use your nose to push your knee down as far as you can. And eventually, in months or years, you might have a flat leg. But for now, come as far down as you can. Reach the chest forward. Flex toes back. Sensation is good, pain is not. So if you feel any pain, back off. Inhale, rise. You can use your hands if you'd like to bring your leg back up like that. And we'll just take this on the other side. So left foot forward, flex left toes back. Bring your right foot wherever you'd like it, or ideally same variation as you took on the other side. Inhale, arms up. Interlace fingers if you'd like. And exhale, fold. Bending as much as you need to at the knee so that you can touch your nose or whatever part of your head or body. You think about reaching the spine forward, so like pull your chest forward as much as you can and then curl down. Don't forget to flex toes back. And think about squaring your shoulders. Inhale back to rise. Release left foot. And we'll take a supine pigeon. Hopefully you guys can hear me still. So you're going to come down onto your backs. I'm trying to make it face me. There we go. Come down onto your back. Walk feet in. Go ahead and cross right foot or right ankle over left thigh. Wherever it lands is fine. And then wrap your hands around the top of your thigh, well, the bottom of your left thigh. Or if it's comfortable, you can wrap around the calves, but whatever is accessible to you is the variation that you take. Make sure you're flexing left toes and you can flex right toes and you can release left leg. So just grab wherever you can and whatever is comfortable. You should feel this in your hip, in the outside of your left. Why do I think this is my left? Of your right hip. So go, if you'd like, you can pull forward a bit. You can use right elbow to push right leg away from you, but don't overdo it. Sensation is good, pain is bad. Breathe into the sensation. Send your breath to the outside of your right hip. And don't forget to flex right toes. When you're ready, go ahead and lower left leg, unhook right leg, and we'll do the same on the other side. So hook left leg, left ankle on right knee, and go ahead and lift grabbing around the backs of right thigh, the back of right calf, whatever feels good. You can push left knee away with left elbow if that's comfortable for you. If you feel any sensation in the knee, back off and don't take that variation. Make sure you're flexing left toes back. Relax your right leg. Okay. Unhook left leg. Bring both feet to the ground. Walk feet up so that they're underneath of the knees. We'll take one round of bridge. So your fingertips might brush the backs of your heels. They might not. Whatever feels the most comfortable. Ideally, you just want your bones in alignment, so ankles directly below knees. That's kind of hard to judge without a mirror, so just do your best. Don't feel overly pressured about it. When you're ready, firmly pushing your feet into the ground, lift your hips off the floor and raise them up. Squeeze your butt. Think about tractioning your heels backwards towards your head. This helps engage the spot below your butt at the top of your thighs. If you're all the way up and you're comfortable here, you can walk the shoulders underneath of the chest and clasp the hands beneath you, but making sure that you keep palms or knuckles reaching forward toward your heels, heels reaching back toward your knuckles, hips lifted up, knees parallel to each other, shins parallel to each other. Knees should be tractioned over your toes. Press the head into the ground, making sure that you keep space in your cervical spine. Roll your chest forward, but make sure that you have space between your neck and your chest. Just a couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, walk the shoulders back out and slowly lower down. You can walk feet out to the outsides of the mat, but other than that, remain completely still. Breathe slowly and evenly, and allow the breath to lead the heart rate into a slower pace. When you're ready, knees come up above hips. Put your arms out to a T or to a cactus, whatever you like or have space for. And go ahead and drop knees to the right side for a supine twist. If the knees don't come all the way down, that's just fine. If you have something that you can put to raise the knees up so that you can fully relax, that would be great. Otherwise, it's not a big deal. Make sure that you're pressing left shoulder into the ground. So you don't want to bring your knees all the way down at the expense of lifting your shoulder. It's better to have your shoulder down and your knees lifted up a bit. If it's comfortable, gaze can go over your left hand. And you can let your eyes start to get heavy. Feel the left side of the body relax. On an inhale, bring both feet up towards center, and on the exhale, drop them to the opposite side. Same thing here. Your knees come as far as they can. If your shoulder starts to pop up, press it back to the ground. You want your shoulder to be down. It does not matter if your knees come all the way to the floor. Gaze is over right hand if that's comfortable. If it's not, do whatever's good for your neck. So if you need to look up or if you need to look left, that's perfectly fine.
Breathe into right side of the body as it relaxes. Gaze is heavy. When you're ready, bring knees back up over your hips. If you'd like, you can take a happy baby here, grabbing onto the outsides or the insides of your feet or the outsides of your calves, and pulling your knees towards your elbows, your armpits. You want your back to be flat. You can take some movement if that feels good, or you can sit in stillness. Alternatively, you can take feet up a wall, or you can just sit in stillness here. Any last postures that you'd like before we move into our final Savasana. If you'd like one final compression, you can bring knees into chest, wrap as much as you can around your knees. So grab opposite elbows or just grab the outsides of your knees and pull in, squeezing everything as tight as you can. And exhale to release. Feet wide, arms wide. I'm not on my mat. It doesn't matter, but you probably can't see me. Into your final resting pose. So really let your body melt into your mat here. Relax every muscle in your body. If thoughts appear, just fold them in and exhale them. Try and be present. Relax your face, the spot in between your eyebrows. Relax your jaw. Relax your toes and your calves and your belly. And when you think you've relaxed your entire body, take one more scan. Find anything that you might still be holding on to and let it go. Just breathe it out. If you'd like to take a longer Savasana, you can pause the video here and rest as long as you'd like, but I'm going to go ahead and move forward and get ready to take our practice off of the mat. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and start bringing small movements into the body. So it can be wiggling fingers, it can be wiggling toes. You can take circles in the wrists or the ankles. You can maybe move the head back and forth, nod up and down. If you'd like, you can take one big good morning stretch, reaching the arms above the body and the feet to the opposite ends of the room before rolling onto one side or the other and coming into a fetal position. The right side tends to be a bit more energizing and the left side tends to be a bit more grounding. So you can pick a side mindfully or you can just pick whichever feels more comfortable to you. Keeping the eyes closed, come into another resting posture here for a moment. And then when you're ready, pushing up into a seated position. You can sit on your feet, you can sit cross-legged or an easy pose, whatever you like. Take a big inhale, sweeping arms up, hands meet at the top of the head. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. I honor the place in you where love, peace, and truth reside. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Namaste.